Hello there, and welcome to Continuing the Conversation, live from the APWA Congress Trade Show floor at the Expo Experience. My name is Emily Barta, and I'll be hosting this conversation. And the reason why we say conversation is because this isn't for us. This is for all of you at home and all of you sitting here with us in Denver. So, we are going to chat with George Crombie, who's the outgoing APWA president, and we're going to talk about APWA's mission to Haiti. For everyone here with us in Denver, we would love to hear your voice. We want to answer your questions, and we want to hear what you have to say. So please contribute old school by raising your hand. We'll bring the microphone over to you so everyone can hear. Or new school by going on Twitter and using the hashtag APWAExpo. For everyone at home, you've got Twitter at your disposal as well, using that hashtag APWAExpo, which you can see at the top of that virtual platform. Or down in the lower left-hand corner, you see that Ask a Question button. That's the other way to get your questions answered and your voice heard here at the 2011 APWA International Public Works Congress and Exposition. George Crombie, welcome.
No, thank you.
And I hear you've been to a couple of these throughout the years, huh?
I've been to a few.
Unfortunately, this year we have to talk about an earthquake that happened in Haiti, which is not necessarily something that we want to discuss, but as has kind of been evident throughout the day, we have found out that sometimes the negative brings about a lot of positive in terms of learning experience. So talk to us. You and a group from APWA went to Haiti as part of the Public Works for Global Solutions initiative, correct?
Yes.
Talk to us about it. Why did you do this?
Well, the reason we went is we're very interested in bringing public works expertise to third world countries. We believe that there's a tremendous amount of horsepower in APWA, and there's opportunity to bring those types of individuals and help third world countries to build their infrastructure.
Okay. How many people went down there?
There was 5 of us that went down.
And what did you experience once you arrived?
Well, if you don't believe in regulation, you don't believe in infrastructure, you don't believe in taking care of the environment, you don't believe in education, you need to take a trip to Haiti.
Wow.
And we really need to appreciate in this country how important all those things are to the quality of life of human beings. And when you don't have infrastructure, you don't take care of the environment, you don't have rules and regulations, you have calamity. And the ones that suffer are the human beings that are at the lower end of the totem pole, and that's a shame.
Well, there was a lot of suffering in Haiti. 250,000 deaths, 300,000 injured, 1.2 million people lost their home and are living in temporary shelters. And that's just the people. When you talk about the buildings, 105,000 homes, 1,300 schools, and 50 hospitals all destroyed. That doesn't even talk about the roads.
No, it's it's a situation where a third world country is vulnerable to begin with, and then when you have a disaster, natural disaster, it even makes that country more vulnerable than it was in the past. And that's what you're dealing with in Haiti. And we saw literally hundreds of thousands of people living in tents. What was interesting, though, the people in Haiti are very proud people. They don't have anything, yet you see them washing their clothes. They have clean clothes. However, they're living day to day and trying to survive for the next 24 hours.
So how can the public works community help them start looking forward to the future?
I think what public works can do, what the public works community can do, is that if we can only unleash our capabilities into a third world country, and that depends on government cooperation in that country, working with different interest groups. What's interesting in Haiti is that the religious groups that are working over there, in a lot of ways, are the ones that are doing the most good, because they're willing to take a risk and they're willing to work with people. They are developing orphanages. They're working on water lines. They're doing a whole number of things to help people, and they're not afraid to step out there and take a risk, and that's why it's working.
You know what else works? When everybody participates in the conversation. So if you would like to do that and you're at home, go ahead and do so by using the hashtag APWAExpo on Twitter, or at the lower left-hand corner of that virtual platform, you'll see the Ask a Question button. What about here in Denver? Does anyone have any comments or experience or, questions for George about the APWA exposition to Haiti? Yes, right over here. David?
Yeah, George, what do you see, what would you envision being the next step for APWA in moving this forward?
Well, I think my vision is that the Global Solutions Program for APWA, which we began this year, would create a framework for chapters to be able to be involved with third world countries and maybe adopt the country and work with the country. I think that's the vision. I think we have many people in this organization, hundreds of thousands of people that are very willing to take part. What we have to do at APWA is create the catalyst to bring these individuals in, because they do want to help and they do want to work. And what's interesting, when you watch a lot of the church groups, they're doing that, and they're setting the catalyst for their parishioners to take place. We also have to create relationships with the USA, the United Nations. We met with the United Nations when we were down there. We met with USAID, and the more you work with these individuals, the more opportunities you're going to have. The other thing is I see more and more jobs for professional people. We met a public works director, former public works director in Haiti, that was working down there, working with the United Nations. And we need to do more of that, because what public works is really connecting our infrastructure to the natural environment and create into mankind. And it's so valuable. You can never have a society that can sustain itself without having a strong infrastructure.
Well, and I think that's a consistent theme that we've heard all throughout this year's Congress and Exposition is we have to have a solid infrastructure to begin with, but they don't.
They don't. Well, what I think there's a couple of things. I think it begins in Haiti with strong leadership. They're going to have somebody to come in there, like Sister Teresa, who says, this is what we need to do, and isn't afraid to go forward. Okay. You need a Gandhi, somebody like that, who's able to raise the level of the people that they trust and can move forward. They also need to get rid of corruption. Okay. And the problem in many countries, in third world countries, is corruption, and that you have a very small segment of the population benefiting where the rest of the population is suffering. And we have to get away from that. And I think countries like the United States and other countries have to say, we want to help you, we want to deal with you, we want to help your people, but you've got to deal with that issue. And I think sometimes we don't spend enough time doing that.
What did you all learn that you can bring back to the U.S. and help, all of us local public works officials and leaders?
Well, I think when you go to a country like Haiti, you understand how important it is to have an effective infrastructure, to protect the environment, to work with others, to partner with other groups, because we live in a very small world, and what happens in Haiti impacts all of us. Sure. It's the same way with countries around the globe. Mm-hmm. And as resources become scarce, it's imperative that if we don't all work together, we're all going to fail. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity for public works to venture out in the third world countries and expose the value of our profession, as well as get people to understand how important infrastructure is, and I think it will resonate back into the United States.
If we all don't work together, we are all going to fail.
That's correct. That's
a fantastic quote by George Crombie, outgoing president of the APWA. What other questions do we have? Virtual audience, let us know via Twitter at hashtag APWAExpo or via the Ask a Question button in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, which I think somebody has done.
That's very true. Randall, thank you for your comment, your question. Randall's asking George if there would be benefit in us training local teams in Haiti on, cost-effective, sustainable solutions that could last.
There's no question. In fact, I have a student of mine doing a thesis paper on how the public works community can work in third world countries, and looking at everything from liability to medical issues to opportunities to looking at different interest groups, and that's ongoing as we speak. Okay. And Dave Dancy from APWA is leading the initiative for APWA, and there's a lot of excitement in bringing this forward. And I think once we do this, we're going to have a tremendous amount of support in our program.
What can we do as individuals within the public works industry to help Haiti or to educate the people of Haiti?
I think it's support. I think it's supporting an initiative like we're putting together. And the goal is, we talked about a program where we would get equipment from the United States, set up a rental company in Haiti, get a grant to support this for the first 4 or 5 years, make it sustainable, and then take the money, the revenue that we're making, to bring over advisors from APWA into Haiti. So it would be a private-public initiative, but an opportunity to be able to, really bring expertise into Haiti. Because I think the important thing is when you go to Haiti today, you see that a lot of the aid is for living day to day, a tent, rice, those kinds of things.
Right.
But we did not see a lot of initiative in building this infrastructure, and that's really what we need to do.
That's what we need to do. We need to not just live day to day, but we need to look forward into the future. So, George Crombie, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us about the APWA Exposition to Haiti and, what we as individuals and what we as an organization can do to help. So hang right here. I'm going to have a chat with everybody at home because we've got a lot going on. And we hope that you've enjoyed everything that you have experienced today. If so, be sure to tell your friends, your colleagues, your coworkers that they can register for free at bit.ly/APWA Expo. It's your opportunity to get involved with the 2011 APWA International Congress and Exposition, even though you weren't physically able to come this year in Denver. We definitely don't want to leave you behind. We want to get your questions answered, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard. We've had so much fun today. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot going on tomorrow, starting at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be speaking with Barbara McCann about the complete streets. Dennis Mulligan is going to chat with us about the Golden Gate Bridge project. Chris Champion will speak on asset management for small, rural, and remote communities. John Hargett is going to talk about infrared asphalt restoration for potholes. And to end the day, we're going to chat with the following day closing session speaker, Greg Steinberg, who's going to tell us how to supercharge your energy and your performance at work. Of course, everything getting back to the public works industry and how we can all work together day by day and looking forward into the future. Now, I know you're not going to remember all that, but don't worry. We've got a complete schedule online. Tell your friends at bit.ly/APWA Expo schedule. And right now, stay tuned. We're not done with programming yet for you. We're going to rebroadcast Diane Linderman's chat yesterday. She's the incoming APWA president that outgoing APWA President George Crombie passed the gavel to yesterday morning. And she sat down and spoke with us about her presidential priorities and what she's going to do for you and for the public works industry in 2012. So thank you so very much for joining us today at Continuing the Conversation, live from the APWA Congress Trade Show floor at the Expo Experience. Stay tuned to watch Diane Linderman, and I'll see you back here tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Have a great evening.